Hi guys, back in 2019, the Tory government said to the Scottish people, even though the SNP were winning more and more seats, now is not the time for another referendum, as the Brexit negotiations were taking place. Brexit was divisive and it was time for healing. In 2020, the Scottish people were told once again, there's a pandemic, now is not the time for a referendum. In 2021, as the UK was coming out of the worst of the pandemic and the recovery was beginning, again the Scots were told, now is not the time, focus on the recovery. Which brings us to this year, and the same record is being played once again. But the cost of living crisis is the excuse for why another referendum shouldn't take place. But as you'll hear from Kelly Given, it's not up to me, it's not up to the Tories, it's not up to Labour, it's not even up to the SNP, but it's up to the Scottish people if they want to remain part of the union or not. Only them.
There has never been a better time to have control over our own affairs than to leave ourselves in the hands of people who have proven time and time again just how incapable they are. And it's actually bordering, it goes further than being incapable. We're talking about people who are driving people to the depths of fuel poverty and despair this winter, whilst lining the pockets of shell giants because they refuse to tax them. We cannot be at the mercy of these people any longer. It is becoming ridiculous. And I said this, for me, this comes down to a very basic point, and I said this last night on the final of Make Me Prime Minister. I said that...
No plugs for other programmes.
I said that the choice to remain in the union or not lies with the Scottish people. It is for no Tory politician, no Westminster politician, no politician anywhere to decide whether or not the people of Scotland should have a choice to decide if they want to be in this union. That is for the people who live here.
OK.
What else can I add to that? Nothing. It's perfect. It's up to the Scottish people to decide. It's not up to the Tories or the Labour Party or even the SNP. It's not up to Westminster to decide if the Scottish people should be able to have another referendum or to be independent. It can't be. Because as we've seen, the Conservatives do not care about the people of Scotland. They don't care about anyone apart from their donors. And as she highlighted here, the energy companies, there's a real chance to impose a real windfall tax that would raise money to help ordinary people, and the Conservatives have decided not to do that. The Labour Party were talking about it, but they're not in power. The ones who are in power are the Conservatives. They have a 70-80 seat majority. They are deciding the fate of the people in Scotland, in Wales, in Northern Ireland and in England. And in particular, the people in Scotland can do nothing about that. Zero. Absolutely zero, because energy is a reserved matter. It's not a devolved power. The government in Westminster decide everything when it comes to energy. They decide other policies as well. They have control over other levers of power. If the Scottish government had control, then we would probably see something somewhat different. And you can compare the policies of the SNP and the Conservative Party. And even if you're not a supporter of the SNP, you have to say they care more about ordinary people than they do about large corporations or multimillionaires, unlike the Conservatives. But as she has said here, it's up to the Scottish people. It's not up to the Tories, it's not up to Labour, it's not even up to the SNP. It's up to the Scottish people if they want to be part of the union. And, you know, the Labour Party or the Liberal Democrats or the Conservatives in Scotland can throw whatever obstacles they want in the way of a referendum. They may attempt to try and slow it down, but they won't stop the Scottish people from wanting to be independent. And what was interesting is in the House of Commons this week, an SNP MP asked two Scots, one a Tory and the other a Labour MP, if an independent Scotland would be a success, and they had to say yes. Because they can't run down their own country. But they understand that, yes, they don't want Scotland to be independent, but they acknowledge that if Scotland was independent, it would be a success, like Ireland is a success. a country that was part of the United Kingdom. Now it is no longer. It's independent, and it has its problems, a lot of problems, but it is a success as an independent country. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.